The holiday season is upon us. Whether you love this time or you kind of resent this time period from beginning of December to solstice is actually a really rich opportunity for deep connection and magic work. So this video is about infusing mysticism back into the holiday season, because I know for so many of us, the holidays have come about crossing things off the wish list, getting all the food together, and generally stressing yourself out running around all over the place. So in this video, I want to talk about some practices for really infusing magic back into the holiday season. So many different world religions have major holidays happening during this time, and it's because of this natural season and time of our earth and just how powerful it is on its own. So solstice literally means sun stands still. So the solstice generally happens around the 21st of December in our calendar, and the solstice is the shortest day of the year. It's the time when the night is the longest, and we experience the depths of the darkness before the sun returns. So you can imagine, for our ancestors, this was a powerful time. This was the time in which it was proven over and over and over again that life would return, that truly the sun had not forsaken us, that life would go on. So as we're moving into this time, into this month, we're really moving through the darkest time of the year. So this is why in many different celebrations, light was central to the way in which solstice and the religious holidays that were celebrated around it were recognized. So whether through candles or Christmas lights or the Yule log, we are celebrating light in this time of recognizing darkness. But anytime we're going into what you would consider the richness of darkness, we have this opportunity for deep mystical connection and magic. So for me, I had a truly magical experience of Christmas as a child, but that's not everybody's experience. So sometimes as adults, we need to reinfuse the magic back into our celebration. That said, this is a really potent time in our collective consciousness. This is really the only time of the year in which a belief in magic is at all encouraged for our children and for our society at large. You might scoff at the idea of Santa Claus, but the idea that as a culture here in America, we still nurture this idea that we would believe in a mythical figure and really encourage that with our children and going, as far as putting out cookies and drinking milk. This is pretty magnificent, actually. This is the one example we have left in our culture of really believing in the mythic, of really believing in the unseen. And I was a Santa Claus believer for a long, long time, longer than it was probably appropriate to believe in Santa Claus. And to this day, I still believe in Santa Claus. Now, do I think that there's a guy climbing down my chimney? Not necessarily, but do I believe in the spirit of Santa Claus that to this day still ignites so much excitement and fruitful imagination in me? Absolutely. So take advantage of this time in which the collective consciousness is turned towards magic to do some magic work of your own to reinfuse the holiday with mysticism. The first practice is to make a wreath with intention. We all see holiday wreaths on people's doors, but don't really think that much about the meaning behind them. Well, wreaths are often made with evergreens, and wreaths were considered to be a symbol of everlasting life, the circle of life, the idea that even in death, even on the darkest night, light is just around the corner, and that truly death is just rebirth. And in fact, Marianne Williamson suggests that this time of the year could be a time in which we are thinking about rebirthing ourselves. What does that look like? So I invite you to try this practice of making a wreath with intention. What is it that you would like to cultivate inside of you? What continuation of life? What would you like to give birth to once more? This is a really great practice to do with kids as well, because it can be fun and outdoorsy. I recommend actually going for a walk around your home or in a local forest or park and harvesting little bits of plants that you can incorporate into your wreath. Evergreens have been this symbol of everlasting life for probably as long as human beings have been imagining and interacting with the world. Evergreens have a really unique adaptation in that they can actually keep in and conserve water, which is part of what makes it possible for them to live through the winter time. It's a really wonderful adaptation that really helps them to be the ones that can shine and soak up the sunshine in the winter time. So for as long as human beings have been around, we've been revering these evergreens and also using them in medicine. A lot of evergreens like spruce, fir, and pine are used in medicinal preparations. They're antimicrobial, they are diaphoretic, which means actually stimulating our bodies, oftentimes stimulating our sweat glands. This is especially important in the winter when we're fighting off a cold. They're also really high in vitamin C. There's actually a story that Captain Cook made all the beer on his ship with spruce, and so his shipmates never got scurvy. I invite you to, with your kids, explore the history of evergreens, connect into them as plants. How are they holders of evergreen wisdom? ID the different plants, and then make a wreath together as a family and really infuse your intentions in what kind of blessings do you want to bring to your doorway. The second practice is making a mythical mistletoe. So we've all heard of this idea of mistletoe, that you're hanging it from the eaves and when you cross under it with someone, you've got to kiss them. Well, I suggest making mistletoe to connect into your personal divine. The idea that every time you would cross under that mistletoe, instead of kissing some random stranger, you would take time, pause, take 3 deep breaths, and imagine yourself moving up and outwards out of the top of your crown and connecting in with your wider self, with your concept of God, whatever feels meaningful to you during this Christmas time. The practice of making mistletoe comes out of the Druidic tradition of Europe. So mistletoe was a really revered plant. It's actually an evergreen vine that grows on oak trees. And if you know anything about Druidic lore, oaks were incredibly sacred to the Druids. So here is an evergreen plant that grows up these oak trees, showing that even in the winter, when the oak trees must lose their leaves, there is still life that is actually helping you bridge upwards towards the sky realm, helping you bridge into the divine. So this is where the history of mistletoe comes in. But here in America, we don't necessarily have mistletoe. That said, you can make your own mistletoe from the plants that help you to connect into the state of wider divine. So you could use pine, you could use dried sage, spruce, bittersweet berries, lichen. So really you can use any plants that for you are emblematic of this connection and kind of make somewhat of a little corsage, and then just hang it up in an area of your home that you pass under frequently, but not so frequently. It's going to be every 5 minutes, but enough that so at least a couple times a day you have to stop, take a deep breath, and remember that this season is one of connecting into a deeper state of mystical being. The third practice is one that you can be doing every day to really hone your intention of how you want to shift your relationship to this season. This can be a really difficult season for a lot of people, and healing our relationship to even the month of December, or this time in which the earth goes through this return of the light, can do a lot to just really heal up these wounds inside of ourselves. So I invite you to think about how you want to shift your relationship to this season, and then get yourself a clear quartz. Clear quartz in Chinese medicine was considered to be highly programmable. So this idea that in clear quartz you can actually infuse your intentions into that quartz and then use that quartz for medicine to help you remember and embody that intention. So the easiest way to do this is to get the clearest piece of clear quartz you can find. Really spend some time sitting with this quartz and meditating on what you want your relationship to this season to feel like. And when you have your meditation come to an end, take this quartz and put it in a glass of water overnight. And you can do this for as many days as you'd like. You can even come up with your own kind of advent, a quartz crystal elixir advent. But just put your quartz crystal in this water overnight, drink it first thing in the morning, and just notice how your relationship to this season shifts over time. Now, this is not a safe practice to do with every stone, so I do recommend working specifically with clear quartz, as the chemical composition of clear quartz, silica oxide, is entirely safe to be taken internally. The last practice is a simple one. but one that is at the center of my celebration of solstice. And this is the practice of being in candlelight. A lot of the ways in which we've become disconnected from the seasons and the world around us is happening through our electricity. And electricity is awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to be in tune with the season. It's hard to be in tune with this time of darkness and really be relishing and giving thanks for the return of the light when we can have lights blazing at any time of the night. So for me, on solstice itself, I like to let the sun go down in my house, and as the house gets darker and darker, just light candles. Now, if you're scared of lighting candles in your home, or you're in a place where you can't light candles or have a fire, you can get those small little tea light candles. I just encourage you to not turn on your overhead lights or to really be lighting your space in the way that you normally would. Here we want to experience the darkness, and in the darkness we want to really be able to give gratitude for this light. It's amazing what happens in our consciousness and in our brain chemistry when we allow for darkness, when we allow for our natural circadian rhythms to come in. So give this a try. If you're feeling overwhelmed in the midst of the holiday season, feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list, take one night for candlelight and just notice how it can reset your nervous system so you can truly enjoy the season again. So if you enjoyed this content, I invite you to check out one of my favorite classes that I teach, Holiday Magic and Medicine Making. I have a link to that class below. You can listen to it at any time, and it's such a great way to learn how to make medicine from the plants around you to really enrich your holiday time. So light the candles, wreathe your houses in evergreen, drink some tea, and really own your relationship to this time of mysticism, magic, and light. Did you like this video? Well, share it with your friends. Perhaps share it with a Grinch or two on your list. Leave a comment below and let me know what is your favorite practice for connecting into this season of light.